Well, good morning if it's morning, good evening if it's evening, and good night if it's night. And a big hearty salam alaikum to each and every one of you that is listening to us live or will be listening to us in archives. But I gotta tell you, we have ran into a problem. Our dear friend, Doc Beverly Smith, has not called me. I'm thinking that maybe she got our times a little bit mixed up. Well, until we find out whether or not she's going to be here today, I guess we will talk and do what it is I do best, entertain you and talk about things that are going on. I got to admit, yesterday we had a wonderful time. Charles Porterfield, Ifa Ibeyu, Yayi Joyce, and myself did an online class on spring cleaning and spiritual cleaning. I gotta tell you that this seems like it's going to be the wave of the future. Very interesting, very intimate, small groups, and we had a wonderful time giving classes on spring cleaning and what to do for the spring. This is going to be an ongoing thing for us, where each month we're going to grab a group of people and they're going to come in and have one-on-one classes with us where we talk about a particular topic. Yesterday was about spring. Yesterday and Monday were about spring, and our next classes or courses will be on money magic, how to work spirituality. So I hope that you all join us. Follow us on social media. Either one of us is always posting about these things, these new things that we're doing. Hopefully you guys will come on over and check it out. Other things that are happening in the horizon, well, finally the fire that was raging for the last couple of days in Houston has been finally extinguished. Hopefully it won't do any harm to the environment and to the people that live around there. We have to do better when it comes to those types of things. Last but not least, this situation on spring break in Miami. My goodness. I tend to avoid places with a lot of people, especially a lot of young people, because I've seen it too many times. Once, when I was young, and now that I'm older, where I see these mob type groups, fighting and bickering amongst each other. Back when I was young, it was a whole bunch of people egging people on. Well, these days it has turned into people videotaping and putting these atrocities online. I gotta ask you, and I gotta ask the men in the crowd, the older people in the crowd that were also videotaping, where are your morals? Where is your sense of community? In one video, there were several women fighting and scruffling on the floor. And all the men did was jump up and down and videotape this whole session going on, this whole foolishness, this mob mentality going on. I gotta ask you, where are the men in our communities? Where are the teachers in our communities? I'm pretty much guessing that none of them were there in Miami Beach. See, we sit back and we look at these things and we laugh and we giggle, but we don't know the impact that it's having on us. The things that it's doing to us. The image that we're portraying on social media and elsewhere. Although I am upset at the women that were fighting each other, I was more upset at these men that were videotaping it and laughing. Like someone getting stomped is some sort of entertainment. There was also another video where this young lady was walking up. I guess there was an altercation or something of that sort. And this young man punches her in the face and knocks her to the floor. Unconscious. Of the group of about 50 to 75 people, not one person tried to help that person up. Try to see if she was okay. Everyone was filming and laughing. Where are your morals? Where is your compassion? I also asked this of the people that share these things on social media. Where or what has this come to? Where we find humor in someone getting hurt. Whether men egg on these women as if they were gladiators. See, I got to tell you that it wasn't a man inside that group. Not one. Not one man inside that group or in the other group, to say. Because no one took the time to see if that woman was okay. That sister, that mother, that child was okay. Everyone just kept on filming, laughing, and degrading that poor young woman. Many of you may say she looked for it. No one looks for nothing like that. No one looks to be humiliated, kicked, stomped on. See, but the same thing is also going on in our spiritual community. These mob-like mentalities, these gang-type groups, where everyone seems to be following one idiot. And it seems to me to be a kingdom full of idiots. See, because instead of teaching someone and saying, hey, baby, that thing might be wrong you're doing right there. Maybe it's not right for you to do it like this. Everyone rides in their high spiritual horse and degrades, shares posts about some particular person or the other, talks down to, oh, you're not supposed to be doing this because of that, or whatever it may be. Beware of mob-type mentalities, whether it be spiritual, mundane, or personal. There's no growth in beating up, shaking up, stirring up the shit pot. I'm not saying nothing about love and light because I do not believe in love and light. I believe that you have to be dual. You have to be a two-hand worker. But the internet and the people that are on there are only showing their ugly side. But of course, who am I to say? I'm only Candelo Kimbisa. And this is It's 12 o'clock somewhere. I'll be right back.
This train is a clean train. You know this train. This train is a clean train. I said this train. This train is a clean train. Everybody ride it in Jesus' name, because this train is a clean train. Lord, this train. This train has left the station. You know this train. This train has left the station. I said this train. This train has left the station. This train takes on every nation, because this train is a clean train. You know this train. It's the prettiest train I ever have seen. Lord, this train. It's the prettiest train I ever have seen. This train. It's the prettiest train I ever have seen. Now, if you want to ride it, you must get redeemed, because this train is a clean train. Lord, this train. This train is bound for glory. Woo, this train. This train is bound for glory. I said this train. This train is bound for glory. Everybody ride her must be holy, because this train is a clean train. You know this train. chews, and no cigar smoker, because this train is a clean train. You know this train. This train don't pull no winkers. This train. This train don't pull no winkers. Oh, this train. This train don't pull no winkers. No crap shooter, no whiskey drinker, because this train is a clean train. This train.
And that was Sister Rosetta Thorpe with This Train. I hope you're enjoying today. Today is Wednesday, and there is a very, very, very big jackpot going on. I hope you do play your numbers. Well, since I'm talking about playing numbers and talking about those things, I want to talk about a very, very good plant. Today I'm going to talk to you about laurel, bay leaf. Bay leaf, bay leaf, bay leaf. And, of course, I'm going to talk a little bit about the class that we gave yesterday and how bay leaf came into the conversation. Bay leaf is a very, very, very spiritual plant and a very spiritual herb. In Bantu, or in the first spirituality I learned, bay leaf, it says in Spanish, abajo del laurel vive mi confianza. In bottom of the bay leaf tree, my confidence lives. Means that my egun and my infumbe and spirits and my confidence, my trust lays in bottom of this plant. Of course, in Roman days, people used them in head wreaths to mark victory. But they also had another significance. The bay leaf was used as a messenger to the gods. And my godmother, Changodina Ibae Ntuno, showed me this trick many years ago, and how to use bay leaves on a dream pillow by simply dedicating 3 bay leaves, one for the Father, one for the Son, and one for the Holy Spirit, and writing all the numbers on that pillow, sequences of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on and so forth, till the whole pillow was covered with numbers. Then simply sleeping on it. And I gotta tell you, there was never a luckier woman on the face of the earth. She would dream these numbers. So today I actually gave you a little working in hopes that you will bring your dreams into existence, your numbers, and that you will also start learning the significance of that beautiful herb, that beautiful plant, the bay leaf. I am Candelo Kimbisa. It's 12 o'clock somewhere. And I just want you to know that I won't dance.
Think of what you're losing by constantly refusing to dance with me. You'd be the idol of France with me. And yet you stand there and shake your foolish head dramatically, while I wait here so ecstatically. You just look and say emphatically,
not this season. Yes, there's a reason. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, madam, with you. My heart won't let my feet do things they should do. Yes, you know what? You lovely, so what? You still lovely, but oh, what you do to me? I'm like an ocean wave that bumps on the shore. I feel so absolutely stumped on the floor. Yes, when you dance, you jump in and you gentle. especially when you do the continental. But this feeling isn't purely mental. For heaven rest us, I'm not asbestos, and that's why I won't dance. Why should I? I won't dance. How could I won't dance. Mercy, because I know that music leads the way to romance. So if I hold you in my arms, I won't dance.
I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, don't ask me. I won't dance, Monsieur, with you. My heart won't let my feet do things they should do. You know what? You're handsome, and so what? You're handsome, but oh, what you do to me. I'm like an ocean wave that's bumped on the shore. I feel so absolutely stumped on the floor. When you dance, you're charming and you're gentle, especially when you do the continental. But this feeling isn't purely mental. For heaven rest us, I'm not asbestos, and that's why I won't dance. Why should I? I won't dance. How could I? I won't dance. Merci beaucoup. I know that music leads the way to romance. So if I hold you in my arms, I won't dance.
Yes, I won't dance. Don't ask me. I won't dance. Don't ask me. I will not dance, madam, with you. Yes, my heart won't let my feet do things they should do. Yeah, you know what? You kinda lovely.
And so what? I'm lovely.
But oh, what you do to me. I'm like an ocean wave that's bumped on the shores. I feel so absolutely stumped on the floor.
When you dance, you're charming and you're gentle, especially when you do the continental.
But this feeling isn't purely mental. For heaven rest us, I'm not asbestos, honey. Whoa.
And that's why I won't dance.
Oh, yes.
Why should I? I won't dance. How could I? I won't dance. Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, mercy beaucoup.
I know that music leads the way to romance. So if I hold you in my arms, I won't dance.
Now that was Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong with I Won't Dance. Well, I just had a call from Miss Beverly Smith over Facebook. Hopefully she'll be able to give us a call through our line, and we will keep the show running longer if she actually makes it in. I'm pretty sure she just saw my messages and decided to call in and see what's going on. So this is what we're going to be doing. Well, I also wanted to share something that was spoken about yesterday in our class with Charles Porterfield, Ifai Bayou, and Yayi Joyce. And this is something that we have spoken about on many occasions, and something that I actually knew because of certain spells that we give in and around, the show and when we're teaching and things of that sort. And the reason why a lot of times oils don't seem to work. We all know that water and oil, there she is. Well, and I'll get right back to that story when I'm about finished. Hello, Miss Beverly?
Good morning. I apologize. I don't know why I thought we were going on at 10.
No, baby, we were going on at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, which is 11 o'clock my time.
Eastern Standard Time. I don't know why I thought it was.
Oh, now, excuse me, guys. For some reason, our call just dropped. Let me get her back in here again, so hopefully we can get this interview on and started. My goodness. If it's not one thing, it's another. People say that this Mercury retrograde, as they say, does not really happen, but shit, it seems like it's happening now. 12:28 p.m. Let me call her back. I think this is a California number. Give me 1 second. Call while I figure this out. Oh, there she is. Hello, Miss Beverly.
Hello. I don't know what happened, but the phone call dropped.
I know. Don't worry, child. Shit happens all the time. How are you? I'm so happy to have you here.
Am I live right now?
Yes, you are.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. Hello in the audience. It's good to be here.
Well, someone just said, hello, Auntie, so I guess you know who that is. She just said, hello, Auntie.
Oh, I know who that is. Hello, E5AO.
Okay. Child, let me tell you something. I know that we started late, so we're gonna run it a little bit longer than we usually do. It'll be just an hour, okay? But this is gonna be an hour.
I do apologize for that.
You don't have to apologize. First of all, this show is about you and who Doc Beverly is, what it is that she does, and she does it very well, and to dispel and to dismiss some of course some misinformation that goes out there, and to put out the real information that's going out there. Okay?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So what I like to start the show with is, first of all, who are you, Doc Beverly? I know who you are, but our listening audience doesn't know who you are. Who is Doc Beverly? What is it that she does, and why she does it?
Yes, sir. Let me get to it. Well, I am a Caribbean American, Jamaican by ancestry, and I have always been interested in the spiritual world. I have always connected, if you could say, with nature spirits. And so I was a magical child. I mean, I'm not speaking myself up, but I'm just saying that I know what I was doing at that time. And I was basically observing and interacting with nature spirits at a very young age. This got me very interested in spirituality. And as I grew and matured, I started studying various religions, various philosophies and spiritual traditions. And I ended up studying quite a few of them. I ended up studying Druidism, which I then ended up teaching, ended up in the priesthood, worked my way up to the high priesthood. That was a nod to my Irish ancestry. It's just a drop in there, but I found the Druid path to be very, very interesting and aligning with my sensibilities about the natural world. Because the Druids are all about nature, about connecting with nature, interacting with nature, respecting nature, and recognizing the natural seasonal cycles. I spent 20 years doing that, but Candelo, it seemed a little, shall we say, unseasoned for my taste.
Unseasoned? Okay.
Just a little bit unseasoned. Just a little bit unseasoned. I wanted something different.
It lacked a little soul. It lacked a little soul. But...
Yes, it lacked a little soul. It needed a little something. And so I found myself going back to my African roots, to my blackness, to my black culture. And that's where I discovered, on a very informal basis, because I am not initiated to any African traditional religion, But on an informal basis, I discovered some of the African deities and some of the African gods. And that got me studying, that got me introduced to various people. And I started studying African American folk magic, which we call conjure, which some people refer to as hoodoo. I personally don't care for that term that much. I understand that some of us feel like we need to reclaim it from those who have commercialized it and bastardized it and appropriated it. I know there are people that feel like they need to reclaim that word. I prefer using the word conjure. And so it aligned perfectly with me because I've always been I've always been a student of herbalism. Now, anybody who's a serious student of herbalism knows that is a lifelong pursuit.
Yes.
You don't study herbalism and then call yourself an expert. You know what I'm saying? You don't study herbalism and then say, I'm done, I'm ready, I'm finished, I got it all. It's a lifelong pursuit. And so African American conjure lined up perfectly with me, with my interest in herbalism and the natural world. I'm also a yogi. I've been practicing yoga religiously. I shouldn't say religiously because I don't really deal with the spiritual part of yoga. Yoga is an 8-limbed tree.
Yes.
And one of the limbs are the physical poses, and one of the 8 limbs is the religious part, is the spiritual part, the Hindu part. I am not Hindu. I'm not trying to appropriate anything in that way. I do the physical poses, which incorporates the breath with the body and the mind, pulling together the mind, body, spirit connection. So the spirit that I impart is my own sense of spirit. Instead of a Hindu path, it's my own path. And that path, for me, I've in the last 10 years or so, I've been drawn back to ancestral work, working with my own forebearers, and allowing them to instruct me, to guide me, to correct me. And so I find that conjure works out beautifully with that. It allows me to use my experience, my lived experience as a yogi, in order to find my center, in order to settle my body, settle my mind. And then I use hoodoo or conjure to affect the manifestations that I want to create in my life and for my clients. And about 2 years ago, I started doing this for clients. And I feel very satisfied because I am very much into helping those who are downtrodden. I have a very soft spot for sex workers, for pimps, for gamblers, for anyone who is working in the shadows in society. They need a lot of help. They're more marginalized than most marginalized people. Do you feel what I'm saying?
Yes, I understand exactly what you're talking about.
Right. So I'm working with I work with the incarcerated. I've been trying for the last couple of years to start a ministry with incarcerated women. I want to incorporate yoga,
let me tell you before you go on somewhere. I have the contact for that for you in California. So once we finish,
that's wonderful.
I am going to give you the information and we'll talk about it because I have the contact for that. He just started doing it recently.
Because I've been trying for 2 years. I've been trying for 2 years and I've been getting the runaround. The red tape is ridiculous. The bureaucracy, the tomfuckery, it's ridiculous. They don't really want anyone to help these people, and I'm determined to do so. So I thank you, and I look for that information from you as soon as possible. But that's a little bit who I am.
Well, there is another aspect of you, okay?
Yes.
Which I got to speak about because you are the first person who I saw doing this, okay?
Okay.
Well, that I personally know that did this, okay, on a larger scale, okay, because you have incorporated or put something that has always been part of our communities, but brung it back out to the masses, which is social justice and spirituality, and how they go
Yes,
hand in
sir,
hand,
that's-
and without one, the other one is basically nothing. Okay, so let's
Come
talk a
on,
little bit about
come
that
on.
aspect of it, because you almost forgot, and I believe that is
No,
one
I
of your
never-
best
I
things
never
that you
forget
do.
because that centers me. That centers me. Let me give you a little background about me. I may not look it, but I'm old enough to be on the tail end of the forced busing and forced integration of the school systems.
Yes,
Here in America.
I was actually on one of the buses when they integrated.
Right. Absolutely. And that really, when you are a first grader and you are going through that type of adversity, when you are on a school bus and not welcome and being bused to a school where you are not welcome and dealing with teachers who are not welcoming you, who are not protecting you, who are not treating you equal, it really makes a big impression on a young mind. And so from a very young age, I was very much against any type of injustice. Injustice drives me nuts. To me, the biggest sin is inequality and injustice. And so when people say to me, Beverly, what is your religion? I kind of just tell them my religion is justice. I mean, I honor the divine creator. I honor my ancestors, but I worship at the altar of justice. Because to me, an injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And so for me, it's important to take my spirituality, to make my spirituality about restorative justice. And that's one of the reasons I'm trying to get into the jail system, into the prison system, to work with the incarcerated women, because it's very important to me that we advocate for justice. Now, I get a lot of shit for this. I get my own brothers and sisters, divisively calling me and derisively calling me a social justice warrior and who do you think you are and all of this. Listen, back in the civil rights days, some people actually got off their ass and did some stuff. Now, the majority, and people will diss me for this, but I'm telling the truth. I'm going to tell you the straight up truth. The majority of our black and brown people sat up in their homes and did nothing. But there was a group of people out there getting knocked down by the water hoses, getting knocked down, the fire hoses, getting knocked down and bitten by the dogs, that were actively in the streets, that were actively engaging, that were actively resisting. And their resistance, the resistance that they put forth, helped us. It brought about the Civil Rights Act of 1968. Not all black people worked for that. Not all brown people or indigenous people worked for that, but there were a few people out there advocating. There were a few people out there doing the work. Now, I'm not always in the streets, but I have done my time in the streets.
Yes, you have.
I mean, I have been there twice for the protest when Michael Brown was shot. I've been in the streets when the tanks came by. I was in the streets when the lady in Riverside, here in Riverside, California, in 1992 or 93, was shot to death in her car when she was asleep. All of those things have affected me, and I do advocate from my keyboard.
Right.
But I also talk to my congressman. I'm also up in the jails trying to get through the red tape. And whenever there is a march that I can attend and sort of make a difference, I am there. So we need to, as a people, as black, brown, and indigenous people, we need to engage on whatever level we are able, if only to gather our cousins when they say, oh, social justice ain't shit. It's a waste of time. What you doing? Nothing's going to change. Why are you even doing this? If all you do is gather your cousins, you're helping.
Right.
If you pass along knowledge, if you drop knowledge that's going to make your brother and sister think about something and become a little bit more knowledgeable or enlightened about a certain subject, that's helping.
Mm-hmm.
If you work and do conjure, which is what I do, I am constantly doing actions against the police state. I am constantly doing actions against white supremacy. I am constantly doing actions against the authoritative nature of this government, because every little bit helps. If I sit back and do nothing, Candelo, then I feel like I have disappointed my ancestors who had to struggle, fight, and survive through all of this mess.
And let me tell you something. You are, if not the only, well-known conjurer or spiritual person that I actually saw after the Michael Brown thing in Ferguson, I believe it was.
Yes.
You were the only one I saw there. I saw a lot of people jumping up and down and saying this and saying that, but you were the first. You were there, okay? You were the first one to say, let's do a community thing. Let's all of us get together. And it broke my heart, okay, to see so many people not partaking in it. I know that everybody can't drop everything and go, but as a group.
I understand. If you can't drop. Some people can't afford it.
All right.
Some people can't afford to drop everything and go.
But as a group that claims so much love, light, or whatever the hell they're claiming these days, I didn't see the unity that we needed as a spiritual community to attack this, or to keep on attacking these types of actions that are being brought upon Black, Brown, and Indigenous people. And I got to commend you on that, because you were there, and you made the call to justice, and a lot of these fuckers, and I'm going to say the name. I mean, not the name. I'm not going to say their names, but I'm going to call them what I think they are. Phonies and posers. A lot of them just sat back, thinking that maybe it would hurt their bottom line, that would hurt their money. I don't know what the hell they thought. But please,
they thought
continue.
all the above. They thought all the above. They thought it would hurt their bottom line. They thought it would hurt their business. They thought it would hurt their spiritual practice. They thought that they would have to explain themselves to their community. And we're not talking about white people. I don't expect white people to do shit. When they rise up and do shit, that's gravy. That's extra. That's extra. When they rise up and actually act like the allies, the co-conspirators that they're supposed to be, that's, to me, is gravy. I'm not expecting that.
Right.
I will call the white folks out constantly, but I'm not expecting them to save our people.
Right.
It was very disappointing. It was very disappointing when I put out that call for magical work. Let's come together as a group. Let's gather ourselves and let's do the work in one mind. I got 2 or 3 takers, Candelo. 2 or 3 takers. But you already know this. I got 2 or 3 takers. And we did the work.
Oh, we did it.
We did the work. But I feel we could be so powerful. I feel we could be so powerful if all spiritual workers, especially Black, Brown, and Indigenous, especially those who have a stake in this, especially those who are marginalized, especially those who will benefit, they need to use their powers, because we have been given God-given ashe. We've been given power. We've been given grace. We've been given the power to change our circumstances. What do you think magic is for? I know a lot of people are trying to get rich, and that's cool. That's cool. That changes your circumstances. I know people are trying to get laid. I know people are trying to get married. All of that is good. But if we do not have a safe society, what is that?
Right. You're absolutely right.
If we do not have a safe society, what does it matter if I get wealthy and you're still marginalized? Now, I know a lot of people don't think that way, but all boats all boats rise with the tide.
Right.
The rising tide lifts all boats. We could do so much more as a people, especially us magical, spiritual people, those of us who have been given the sight, those of us who are gifted for the work, those of us who have been called by spirit or by our ancestors to pick up this burden. We could make this burden so much lighter for each other if we all helped carry the burden.
Yes. Amen. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is the great Doc Beverly Smith herself. You're listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere. And guess what? We will be right back.
Every day of our lives, and that's all. Now, when you see folks jump from this or that, they don't know where the devil they're at, and that's all. That's all. They got to have more love, more understanding every day of their lives. I tell you, that's all. Blow it down, blow it down. Crazy, crazy, Oh, get down with it, get down with it. Listen, people fighting one another and think they're doing swell. And all they want is your money. And you can go to... And that's all. That's all. They all got to have religion now. I'll tell you, that's all. Now he can go to the college, go to the schools. Haven't got religion. He is an educated fool. That's all. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all. We got to have more love and understanding every day of our life. And that's all. Yeah, that's all.
Now that was Sister Rosetta Tharpe with That's All. And with us today we have Doc Beverly Smith. Doc Beverly Smith is here. She's telling about her work, she's telling about herself, and she's telling you about how she feels and how we both feel, how things should be going. And I think that the song that we just played right now by Miss Rosetta Tharpe is a very good compilation of what we're speaking about. The song's title is That's All. And if you don't know,
That's
guys, the person that is playing the guitar in that particular song that I just played is Sister Rosetta Thorpe, one of the real founders of rock and roll. But we'll talk about that some other time. Okay.
Yes.
Bev, I gotta ask you a question. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this new thing, the outrage, the black outrage that is going on now? Do you feel that this is a marketing ploy for the big companies to get, let's say, Europeans and European Americans to start buying their products again?
I do think some of it is contrived. Like, like some of these big names like Gucci and some of these other names
and Prada
that are
and
doing
all those people.
Yeah, doing all this tomfuckery with blackface and all that foolishness. And then they come out with their lame-ass apology, which is no apology.
Yes,
sorry, not
exactly.
sorry.
Yes.
I do believe that, number one, it's to get themselves noticed. I think it invigorates some of their tired old brands.
Mm-hmm.
Because black people like myself, we become enraged. We start talking about it. And what does it do? It draws more attention to the fuckery.
And to their dying brands.
To their dying brand. And that's and so I feel that sometimes I have been pulled into that foolishness.
Right.
And I want to give it less attention in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that that not all black rage though is contrived.
Okay.
Or when I say contrived, I mean the rage is real. But
Yes.
I'm saying it's been orchestrated in some way. In some ways we've been played like fiddles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Mm-hmm. But in some ways the rage is real. Because in this day of social media, we can see these injustices and these discriminations and microaggressions and macroaggressions happening almost in real time.
Right.
We can see videos. We can hear about stuff almost immediately. People can live stream when police pull them over. I do that. As soon as I get pulled over, I put it on Facebook live stream. I'm so glad I haven't had to do that in a couple years.
Right.
But that's what happens. I feel that social media has put more of these injustices in our faces. And so our rage is real. Our rage is real. Our rage is not contrived. Sometimes it's orchestrated, but the rage is there because we have grown weary of what's going on. Listen, Candelo, it's been 50 years since the last civil rights movement. It's been 51 years since the passage of the Civil Rights Act, and guess what? Not that much has changed. So am I surprised that we went through a period in the 70s where things were a little bit more mellow, where black people were enjoying a little bit more of their newfound freedom, where they were making more movies, doing more community outreach, where black people, I'm not going to say they were complacent, but they were a little bit more comfortable in the 70s because we had just fought the civil rights fight and won in terms of the Civil Rights Amendment, which is when we as people of color, especially black and brown people, became citizens by amendment, the Constitution of the United States. So I think we had a period of comfort there, of more comfort, feeling more comfortable than we did before. But with this age of social media and being 50 years out and not that much has changed, now we see every time a cop kills an unarmed black man. Now we see every time a cop wrestles a black teenage girl to the ground in her bikini. We see these things in real time, and our rage is growing again. And frankly, I'm glad to see it because I do not want to see complacent Negroes. I'm sorry, I don't. I think everybody should be as upset as I am because I feel like when you are upset, that is when you will take action. That is when change happens. When you realize your predicament and will not have it. Well, you will not accept it anymore. And I think we need to be less accepting of our current situation. And I welcome any resurgence in in Black liberation. I welcome any resurgence in Black rage because I feel like it's our anger that's going to get us moving again.
And it's funny to me how people say, "Oh, this is new." Okay, nothing is new under the sun. These things have always happened and continue to happen. Okay, just like you said, just because we can see it now. Yeah, we can see it in real time. We can see it in real time, and for someone to deny this, it's even a bigger knife in the heart. Not even in the back. It's right straight to the heart, because you're seeing it in real time. These are not Hollywood pictures. We're seeing it in real time. Yeah, these are not Hollywood pictures. These are not things that are just coming around. I mean, really, But I also wanted to have a conversation.
Everything old is new again, brother. Mm-hmm. Everything that we've gone through before. Life is cyclical.
Yes.
Life is a cycle. And everything we've seen before is coming back around. And that's why we cannot be complacent. We cannot say, well, leave it to somebody else to do this. Mm-hmm. Because that's always been done. Leave it to somebody else to do it. And guess what? Someone else will always do it. But why should they be the only one doing it?
Exactly. Well, there was another conversation that I wanted to have with you, and many people want to know.
Sure.
Why are you not going back to Pantheacon, which you have been going to for several years? You have been going to several years. And I want to know what transpired. What transpired in Pantheacon?
Anybody that knows me, anybody that knows me knows that I am not a Christian.
Right.
I consider myself a non-Christian, a non-Abrahamic faith. So that is considered by the dictionary to be pagan. Pantheacon Panthea means many gods, all gods. Pantheacon is a convention for those who acknowledge more than one deity, acknowledge other deities besides the Abrahamic faith. That's just to explain Pantheacon. It's a yearly convention, takes place in San Jose, California. About anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 visitors, conventioners every year. I knew that Pantheacon was a very white space. It's a very white European American space. But Black people have been going to Pantheacon for about the last 15, 20 years in greater numbers every year. And I went in 2014 to attend the memorial of my dear friend, and I believe you knew him too, Dr. Eddie Gutierrez. He died of a sudden heart attack, January 2014. He'd been asking me to attend Pantheacon with him for years, and I had no interest. I went up there to his memorial, and I met some of the best and the greatest Black people in my life who became my dearly beloved friends, and that is why I have gone back every year. And let me tell you, Candelo, our rituals, the Black rituals, are dope. They are lit at Pantheacon. But here's the problem. Every year was a flipping fight. Every year we had to deal with the hostility, and I'm talking outright hostility. Every year when we were doing our Black-only, our family-only oriented rituals, because we did an ancestor healing ritual every year where we acknowledged all the police victims of that previous year, and where we poured libations and had a full-on ritual for them, we would have to post security in front of our door to keep out these hostile motherfucking white people, okay? Candelo, after a while, it just got too tired. We became exhausted. People would say to me, Beverly, why do you keep going back? Because I have such good friends there that I only see once a year. Because we have the best rituals and the best dinners and the best parties. And we have our people of color suite and our queer and trans people of color suite. And we had a great time. Our dance parties, our rituals, everything was amazing. But there was always so much pushback by the white people. So much interference, so much fuckery, so much disgusting. Their comments, and sometimes they put these comments in writing.
Right.
Sometimes they put these comments in writing because the convention has a daily newsletter, and sometimes these bastards would put their comments in writing. And this year we were attacked, verbally attacked, and magically attacked. But you know what? I don't worry about no white people's curses. I don't. I sleep like a baby when white people throw at me. I don't.
Right.
I'm not concerned.
Right.
They publicly cursed us. There was a big name pagan. I'm not going to use his name because that motherfucker is highly litigious. I do not want him coming after your show, you or me.
Right.
But let's just say a very big name, a very big author, a very big fish in that tiny pond decided to come for us because, and when I say us, some of the black folks there, we took issue with some of the presentations, and some of them seem like outright disparaging of our icons, like Harriet Tubman and W.E.B. Du Bois and certain people like that, and we weren't going to have it. So we went to the programming. We had those people disinvited, and at that point, disinvited from Pantheacon. They were going to present. We had them disinvited, and at that point, all hell broke loose. They cursed us. They did this. They did that. They doxed some of us, not me, but some of us they doxed. People were having death threats, including myself, and we were like, fuck it. We're out of here. We're going back for one last hurrah to see our friends, and we will turn that into a planning meeting to create a new pagan convention, but for people of color only. And that, in a nutshell, is what happened at Pantheacon. It was my 6th year going back, and I had enough of the hostility. I had enough of the fuckery, and I was done with those people. Because at some point, you know that when these bastards are singing, "We all come from the goddess," they ain't talking about you.
Right.
Okay?
Well, the funny
They're not
thing
talking
is
about
that
you.
I've never been interested in Pantheacon. Never. Okay?
Yeah.
But I wasn't aware until you started going that people of color actually went there, to tell you the truth.
Yes.
Okay?
We are in the extreme we were in the extreme minority, and we created our own programming around it.
Right, because one, they never advertise or say or speak about this marginalized group within their group.
Never.
It's not like they're publishing places, they're putting out newsletters about you guys coming in or anything of that sort. And I, for one,
Never.
have always thought that we as people of color were not welcome there.
We aren't welcome.
That's my personal view on all this.
You were correct. You were absolutely correct, my friend. We are not welcome. It's just that some of us were contrary enough to say, fuck you, we're going to walk where we want, we're going to go where we please. And that's what we did.
Right.
And we did that for years. Some black folks have been going for 10, 12 years just because they were told that they weren't welcome. They went to be contrary.
Right.
The bottom line is that it was not a welcoming space. The bottom line is that there was the programming has nothing to do with us. And when it does have to do with us, it's white appropriators that have completely fucked up our traditions. I went to one so-called hoodoo presentation back in 2015, and I had to walk out about 20 minutes into the hour-and-a-half session. It was such a mishmash of it was ridiculous. I mean, we're talking mojo bags for Aphrodite, insane stuff.
Mojo bags for Aphrodite. Nice.
Exactly. I mean, we're talking about a mishmash that's so ridiculous, I can't even really put it in words. And so I just never wanted to present there, not to the general public. When I presented, it was to family only in one of the private suites. So, but you're absolutely right. If anyone has the impression that Pantheacon is a white space, They are absolutely correct. And we are not welcome. No matter what they say publicly, many of us already know that we are not welcome because we have lived it. And we have just decided it's too hard, it's too much hostility, and we can see each other annually in another space. Sometimes, Candelo, I really feel that segregation is the key. I really do sometimes. I feel like in some walks of life, in some things that we do, perhaps it's best to be segregated and not to have the white gaze.
And I sit and I've looked at it for many years. I've looked at it from far. I trolled, and I believe that the only time there has been a person percent there of actual lineage on the ATRs, okay, on the ATRs was, I believe, and it wasn't actually presenting. They were part of a panel discussion, okay. So it wasn't really presenting there. I believe that Eric Cologne was there several years ago doing a panel discussion. But to be something,
I recognize the name, but I don't think I've never met. I recognize the name, but I don't think I've met them.
That's the only person that I've seen that really, was doing something on the ATR perspective there, and it just irks me. It really does. That we as a people that have, several gods, several deities, several this, several whatever, okay, are not represented in these groups, in these things. But it's fine, because what we do is we make our own damn things, just as you're doing, and I commend you on that.
Right. We have to make our own thing because, number one of the reasons I never wanted to present there to the general population is because anytime you see someone come in, they especially do this with the Native Americans, anytime you see someone come in and give a legitimate presentation about their own culture, something that they know about, the following year, some European American will jump on that bandwagon and not only make a similar presentation, but offer items for sale. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go in there and give
like the sacred sage and the dream catchers, huh? Lord.
Right, and the sacred sweet water of Aphrodite, the sweet water the sweet grass of Aphrodite. I mean, the mashup is absurd because you're dealing with people, and yes, I have attended. I had to see it for myself. That's one of the reasons I knew I wasn't going to go back, because I had to see for myself. I've actually attended a presentation where one of these big fish in the small Pantheacon pond got up and said the white man is entitled to everything because he brought civilization to the world. This is how
my
the majority...
God, I think I couldn't have been able to sit there.
Listen, it was a 90-minute presentation. Within the first 5 minutes, I was bristling. But I said, I have to sit here and be a witness to this fuckery. And so by 35 minutes in, though, I had to get up and leave. When he was doing a PowerPoint presentation, and when he got to the PowerPoint presentation and put up on the screen, cultural appropriation is science fiction, and that's a direct quote. Yes. Cultural appropriation is science fiction. That's when I had to get up and leave because I couldn't stand it another minute. And this is what we're dealing with. There are certain European Americans, I'm not going to say them all, and I'm not going to say majority, and we all know not all, blah, blah, blah. There are some European Americans, quite a few, who believe that they are entitled to anything and everything because they perceive themselves as superior to all of the rest of the world. And that's why I couldn't go back to Pantheacon. When I actually attended a presentation where he actually said that shit out loud, I had to go. I had to leave because I knew that I was.
And I gotta tell you,
get myself thrown out.
And I gotta tell you, because I know of several pagan groups, okay, known and unknown, that actually
Right.
adhere to that type of mentality. Okay, the Astro being
Oh,
one of
sure.
them. Okay, the Astro being one of them. And it is a shame, but you know, whatever. Okay? But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna
It's
take
part
them.
of their spirituality.
Yeah, it's part of their spirituality. Exactly.
It's part of their spirituality. Yeah.
Well, baby, you know what?
I mean, there's
Let's take their ass back to Chocolate City with Parliament. Sorry, and Doc Beverly and myself will be right back.
What's happening, CC? They still call it the White House, but that's a temporary condition too. Can you dig it, CC? To each his reach, and if I don't cop, it ain't mine to have. But I'll be reaching for you, 'cause I love you, CC. Right on. There's a lot of chocolate cities around. We've got Newark, we've got Gary. Somebody told me we got L.A. And we're working on Atlanta. But you're the capital, CC.
Come on, baby, get on up. Let's do this damn thing on this 12 o'clock somewhere.
Can't you feel my breath? All up around your neck. Hey, CC. They say you jive and game and can't be changed. But on the positive side, you're my piece of the rock, and I love you, CC. Can you dig it? Hey, we didn't get our 40 acres and a mule, but we did get you, CC. Yeah. Gaining on you. Moving in around you. God bless CC and its vanilla suburbs. What's happening, blood? Yeah. What's happening, Black? Brother Black. Blood even. Yeah, just funny now. Getting down. A blood to blood, players to ladies. The last percentage count was 80. You don't need the bullet when you got the ballot. Are you up for the downstroke, CC? Chocolate City. Are you with me out there? And when they come to march on you, tell them to make sure they got their James Brown pass. And don't be surprised if Ali is in the White House. And Reverend Ike, Secretary of the Treasury. Richard Pryor, Minister of Education. Stevie Wonder, Secretary of Fine Arts. And Miss Aretha Franklin, the First Lady. Are you out there, CC? A chocolate city is no dream. It's my piece of the rock. And I dig you, CC. God bless Chocolate City and its vanilla suburbs. Can y'all get to that? Easing it. In your stuff. Can't get enough. Be more fun. Be more fun. And we funky too. Right on, Chocolate City. Yeah. Get deep. Real deep. Emo thought. Get deep. Lick the bag. We just got New York, I'm told.
And of course, that was Chocolate City by Parliament. And of course, our special guest is Doc Beverly Smith. I'm sorry. I'm just thinking about the flow of that damn song. Did I take you back, Bev?
Yeah, that. Oh my goodness, I love Parliament so much. That was badass. Thank you.
So, love. Okay, we spoke about everything else. So, what's new on your horizon? What are you going to be doing in the next couple of months? I know that you will be joining us. You will be joining us at the Mile High Conjure Gala, like you did last year. That's going to be good.
Yes.
What are you going to be teaching this year at the Mile High Conjure Gala?
Container spells, bottle spells.
All right, we sure look forward to that. But what else is in the mix for you?
Oh, okay. Your timing is perfect. Tomorrow morning at the crack of dawn, probably about 4:30 in the morning, I'm heading out to the airport. I am going to Pantheacon. Pantheacon is another pagan convention in Minnesota, in Minneapolis. And they contacted me and asked me to be a guest of honor. I'm one of 3 guests of honor that will be presenting, and I am leaving this weekend to do that. So it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So if you are in the Minneapolis area, please stop by and see me. I will be live. I will be teaching. I will be presenting on 3 different days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will also be I will not be presenting on Sunday. I will be presenting Friday and twice on Saturday, and I will be doing readings all day long on Sunday.
Wow.
And that's what's coming up. That's what's coming up starting tomorrow. So I am out of here for Minneapolis tomorrow.
And there's several other things that you're doing now, too. I love it. Tell everybody else where else they can find you.
Oh, yes, Memorial Day weekend. Well, maybe it's not Memorial Day weekend. I have to double check. It might be the weekend before Memorial Day weekend. I have to double check. But I'll be in Omaha, Nebraska. I will be there with Charles Porterfield, and we will be attending the Psychic Fair. Not attending. We will be reading at the Psychic Fair in Omaha that weekend. I'm sorry that I didn't that I don't have the exact dates for that. Maybe you could post that later, but I could get those exact dates. But yeah, that's in May, and I'm also invited up to New Jersey to speak with someone in a private. It's not going to be associated with any psychic fair or any conjure shop or anything like that. But I will be doing a couple of private presentations over the weekend in July. And that has not been, we haven't settled on the dates yet, but I think that's going to be the 3rd weekend in July. So yeah, I've got a lot of irons in the fire.
And then there's something else you do. You go see the Burning
Man. Burning Man, yes. Anybody want to join me? If anybody want to join me at Burning Man, let me tell you, I'm loving Burning Man. That too is a very white space. 70,000 people, and the vast majority of them are white. But you know what? I always go wherever the fuck I want to go. I have a great time. We have a people of color camp where we had people from a couple of different countries in Africa. We had someone from Uganda, I believe. We have people from Australia. We have people from the Philippines, from Indonesia, and of course, black people and brown people and indigenous people from the United States. And we converge for 1 week in the temporary city of Black Rock City, Nevada, where we look at amazing art, where we explore the temporary city, where we have a great time. And I am one of the mayors of the People of Color Camp this year. So if anybody wants to go to Burning Man, wants to be supported in a black camp with black leaders, with black people and other brown people and indigenous people and Asian people from around the world, come with me, camp with me in Burning Man this year. It is always the week before Labor Day, ending on Labor Day every year. Check out burningman.org for your tickets, and then hit me up. I will be your mayor. I will show you around. I will privately show you around Black Rock City, and we will have a wonderful time. So we are blackening up.
And let's
we are blackening up the desert, baby.
And let's dispel this. let's dispel this thought that's out there, okay? And I want you to dispel this, because being pro-black and loving your blackness is not being racist towards no one. I have seen your interactions with the people. I know the people that you love, okay? And they are of many different races and many different types of people, okay? So please explain to them, to everyone, that being pro-black or loving your people is not being racist.
Listen, if you as a person of color are subscribing to that foolishness, there is nothing that I can do for you. White people subscribe to that all the time. Oh, you even mentioned race. That means you're the racist. You're the real racist because you're talking about it.
Right.
No. Listen, I love my people. I love my blackness. I love your blackness. I love black people. Now, it is a factor of white society, of white domination, that tells us that if we have the nerve to love ourselves, because they do not love us, and they expect us to hate each other the way that they hate us. To me, black love is revolutionary. I love my black people, and I don't consider that racist. I don't consider it racist to say, what the fuck is going on? Why am I being treated like this? Why are we being shot dead in the street because we are unarmed? It is not racist to say, fuck the police. It is not racist to say, as a black person, I'm equal to you. It is not racist to say that white supremacy is a piece of shit, that philosophy is wrong. If you are a black, brown, or indigenous person who honestly believes that self-love is promoting black people, is promoting racism, you do not need Conjure. You do not need the ATRs. You do not need God. What you need is a fucking therapist. Okay? I am not concerned when the white people say you're being racist because you're saying you're unapologetically black. You're being racist because why you post all that black shit? Because bitch, I'm black. It's not a matter of I hate I hate white people because I love black people. White people have set up that dichotomy. White people have set that up. That if we have the nerve to say we're black and we're proud, if we have the nerve to say black girl magic, if we have the nerve to say I'm unapologetically black, if we have the nerve to say black love is black power, if we have the nerve to do what the Black Panthers did and set up a system to love and take care of each other, the white culture is going to automatically call that racist.
Right.
Because they don't give a fuck about us. They want us to, and when I say they, I'm talking about the dominant society, the overwhelming, the overriding attitude I am so tired of saying not all white people. If the shoe fits, wear it. If it doesn't wear it, don't stick your fucking foot in there.
Right.
That's not for me. Right. That's not. Yeah, it's not for me to constantly be worried about fragile white fragility. That's not my concern. My concern is loving my people. And if somebody's going to say, you stick up for your people, you talk about being anti-racist, you talk about loving people, you talk about the community getting together, you even talk about segregation. If that makes me racist, then I'll be a racist. Because you know what? Can I just? I know a lot of your listeners are already quite woke, but can I just give a little remedial, restorative justice?
Of course, love. This is what you're here for.
Black people cannot be racist towards white people. All of us can be prejudiced. All of us can prejudge. All of us can hold attitudes that we don't like white people or we can't stand people that are different than us. But racism is discrimination plus power. Let me repeat myself. Racism is a power struggle. Racism is using power against the marginalized. We as marginalized people cannot be racist against the dominant culture. Let me break it down. I cannot keep white people from getting the best car loan. I cannot prevent white people based on them being white for keeping them out of good schools. I cannot, as a landlord, refuse to rent to white people. I, as a black person, do not have power over white people. But white people as a group have power over me. White people can look at me and say, I'm not giving that nigger a job. White people can look at me and say, I'm not giving that nigger a loan. White people can look at me and they can control almost all aspects of my life. White doctors are well known, are well documented for giving less care, for giving less quality medical care to non-white people. This is not something I pulled out of my ass. The American Medical Association did an anonymous study, an anonymous poll on this years ago.
Especially especially in emergency rooms.
That's right. White doctors are already predisposed to give us less care. These are not situations that black people can do to white people. White people have the power to be racist. We all have the power to be prejudiced. We all have the power to discriminate on some level. But we do not have the power that comes with with being the majority in this country, with being the racial majority. And let me tell you, they're not going to be the racial majority for very long. However, we already know that beating white supremacy is going to be tough because so many of our black, brown, and indigenous people, our brothers and sisters, our cousins, are already deep into it.
Yes.
They're already subscribed to it. I mean, how many of our black, brown, and indigenous will not support black businesses or are constantly asking for a discount? Oh, you'll pay the white man's full price. But you think your cousins need to give you a discount or give you something for free. That's not how you build black business. That's not how you build black business. That's not how you build our community. Our community depends on us treating each other the way we would treat the white man, with the same deference, with the same respect and the same consideration. We should not be asking each other to give discounts. We should be supporting each other's businesses. We cannot be racist against white folks. We can discriminate, and they can discriminate against us. We can be prejudiced, and they can be prejudiced against us. I don't give a fuck if you don't like me
and if you're prejudiced and you don't want to live next to me, and if you're going to prejudge me based on my skin color, I don't give a fuck. What I care about is, what do you have over me? What power do you have over me? Can you keep me from getting that job? Mm-hmm. Can you keep me from having due process with the police? Because the police take our rights all the time. I am concerned about the power that comes with racism. And this is what we have to dismantle in this society. White supremacy has gotten a hold on our global culture. And we have to dismantle it. And guess what? White folks are not going to dismantle it. Not as a group. Individually, there are some white folks doing great anti-racist work. But as a group, they still hold the power over us. And that is where I draw the line. And that is why I will always call bullshit whenever somebody comes out and says, that's reverse racism. There's no fucking thing as reverse racism. There's not a colored person on earth. There's not a colored person in this country, and pardon my use of colored. Some people are very offended by it. But there is not a colored person in this country that could perform racist acts against the dominant society, because we do not have the power. Did that answer your question, my brother?
Yes, it did. And on that note, I am going to thank you for coming on. It's 12 o'clock somewhere. You are always invited, sister. I've been trying to get you on for a while, but our schedules always, you know, you're either doing this or I'm doing that, and it happens.
I got some clients or something. Exactly. I'm sorry I haven't been able to make it before, but I love being here. I give a big shout out to everybody that tuned in. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Come up and see me if you're in Minneapolis, and check me out on Facebook, Doc Bev, Dr. Beverly Spiritual Gangsta, and also check me out on my webpage, www.docbev.com.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. For readings and for scheduled appointments and appearances, they can see you at, again?
www.docbev.com.
All right, baby. Thank you for coming. Guys.
Thank you, Candelo.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be back on Friday. And hopefully next week I'll be able to have Freddie Guevara on Wednesday to talk about spiritualism and the white table. As always, may all the egoons and shadows that accompany you have all the necessary light. From where Doc Beverly and I sit, that's it. Salam alaikum, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without warning, love, bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seems impossible to face, when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be instead of me. Always seems to know the way. Then I look at you, and the world's all right with me. I just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day.
It's 12 o'clock somewhere was brought to you by DocBeverly.com, Kimbisa.org, and the Mile High Conjure Gala.